I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hello there, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request, this time from Frame by Frame. One of a couple requests. They do so much, man. Been very kind. If anyone wants to send in requests for pretty much anything, any type of video, topic, reaction, random, review, re-review, reaction, commentary, any other random stuff, feel free. You just send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both things are down below in the info box. Now this is for the first episode of Game of Thrones, Season 1, and it's called Winter is Coming. And I will make a confession, I have never watched Game of Thrones. I've never seen a single episode, a single thing. I've heard of the show. I know it's based on a series of books that I've never read a single page of. And I especially heard about the show when the last season came about, and this is a tangent, so bear with me. The last season came about, and a lot of people were ranting. A lot of YouTube channels were ranting about it because they were big fans of the show, and apparently the last season really fucked everything up, where they went too quick. Okay, from what I understand, again, I'm not an expert, there was a series of people that helped make the first couple seasons. Then the last season or two were other folks, I guess. And HBO, who was releasing the show, said, hey, you guys want another season, 2 more, 3 more seasons? They want to do as many as possible. And the guys working it at the time, the producers, the team, said, no, this small group of episodes, that's all. That's all we need. And a lot of fans said, bullshit, because apparently things went too quickly, characters changed at the drop of a hat, and they were not satisfied with the ending and where the trajectory went. And apparently one of the reasons those guys wanted to wrap up the show was they were going to direct and do the Star Wars movies at Disney. And then the most ironic thing, that never fucking happened, because they said fuck it and they went to Netflix. So they rushed that last season for fucking nothing, pissed off a huge number of their fans for fucking nothing, and haven't heard of them since. So go figure. Now, going into this with fantasy, whether it be fantasy shows, fantasy movies, like a lot of things, I'm pretty picky, and it's just a different taste, different strokes for different folks. When I think of fantasy, I guess I'm more either inclined to watch a Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, which is much more silly and much more filled with monsters and all sorts of various folklore of legend back to the day with Zeus and the gods and all sorts of different creatures. And much more of an action, definitely more of a campier show. Or maybe something in the vein of the Conan movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer, which I actually enjoy more than the Barbarian. But I like both of those. Or maybe even to the vein of Willow. Now, show-wise, when I think of my favorite shows, a lot of them don't really go into the fantasy realm. They either go to comedy like Monk or well, that's not really a TV show. The Three Stooges shorts, they're short movies, not shows. But they have the length of an episode of a show. Or action shows like the A-Team, or sci-fi like the X-Files, Quantum Leap, Elf. Maybe even reality like Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe. I mean, I'm just talking about like shows I usually watch. So, granted, I'm watching this, I'm going, okay, this is not what I'm usually driven towards. But to be fair, it was well made, especially for a first episode. At the beginning catches you with a certain amount of interest because it's a group of people near this thing called the Wall, which is a massive ice barrier, I guess, to the north. And they see like a bunch of body parts on the ground and look like a little kid pinned to a tree. I'm like, ooh, okay. I mean, I've heard this is a pretty violent show. It's definitely not for kids, and because it's HBO, they can get away with that stuff. But then, as these three walk away in the snow, I guess some of them, those bodies were not really dead, including this little girl, and there's like these monsters with blue eyes, and then what looks like monsters, but zombies are like rushing forward, and one of them even cuts a person's head off, and then you have the credits. I go, okay, this definitely, it definitely knows how to draw the viewer in to be like, what the fuck's going on? But I guess that's explained in more of the show, because they don't really go back to those creatures in this episode. They go more into introduction of characters. You have this, at this point, the star of the show, Sean Bean, who is he's a Stark, and his family. He's got a wife, he's got some kids, including a bastard son, which is the character of Jon Snow, which, for what I understand, he becomes a very important character throughout the rest of the show. You have a little kid, Bran, which he definitely becomes important, to say the least. And this show lasted, 8 seasons? So that little kid, I mean, you get to see him grow before your eyes for people who watch the show. And pretty much showcasing their livelihood, showcasing the world that this is building up towards. For example, one of those people at the beginning survived, but they think he's a deserter, so he gets decapitated. I don't think he deserved it, but this is their law during this time period. But they don't believe that he saw these things called White Walkers. And again, they're putting pieces that, from what I understand, will be flourished much, much later on throughout the show. Like I said, you have Sean Bean's character, you have his wife, you have their kids. One's supposed to be the teen and queen arrive. The teen wants Sean Bean to work with him, to be the hand to the teen, and say, hey, my son, your daughter will join our houses. Peter Dinklage, he's one of the brothers of the Magistry, where his sister is the queen and his brother is a twin brother to, And Peter Dinklage, people don't take him seriously because they call him Imp. And the first time you see him, he's getting a fucking blowjob from a naked chick with titties. I'm like, okay, that's not a bad way to start a character. How you first see Peter Dinklage? Well, he's getting his dick wet in a girl's mouth, and she got the titties. Lucky some bitch. And you see the pieces being put into place. Like, Jon Snow is looked at as the bastard son. There's a little bit of dialogue he has with Peter Dinklage. He's like, how do you know? And Peter Dinklage says, believe me, to any father, what was the word he said? A midget or a dwarf? I forget which one. Believe me, any father thinks that is a bastard. So there's a little bit of connection there. Once in a while there was a lot of dialogue I didn't mind. Like the teen telling Sean Bean, make sure you don't look so fucking grim all. There's also this other group of people that want to usurp the teen. And it's him and his sister, which looks like they're ready to fuck each other. And the sister is going to go with this other warrior clan, which I swear is Jason Momoa, Jason Momoa, as the warrior that doesn't say much, but no, as sort of the more grunt work people that this brother and sister want to help fuck up the teen and their stuff. I didn't really care about that, but I just sort of... In my huge list of kryptonite, Jason Momoa is one of them. I'm just not a Jason Momoa fan. And he didn't say anything. I know, but I just looked at him and go, yeah, there's certain people, just for me, just like Joe Cinnamon and at a point Mark Wahlberg, they're just fucking kryptonite. Jason Momoa, fuck. I mean, like I said, I didn't mind the episode. I like the bit where they find these pup, I think they're called dire wolves. Which they're wolves, but they'll grow up to be really fucking big. And Elsa made me like Jon Snow as a character, because the others like, let's kill him. I'm like, fuck you, these pups are cute. They die, you die next. That's what I want to say. They die, you die next. But Jon Snow, he's like, no, hey, the kids, hey, there's 5 pups, there's 5 of them. You know, come on, let's make the deal, so to speak. And they follow through, so I'm like, alright, Jon Snow, I like you, man. You're cool in my book. And then they find another one, the Runt, and they give that to Jon Snow, which I think in the final episode, it's grown up to be very big, and Jon Snow, like, pets him and stuff. I guess that was sort of a big thing. I don't know why I watched a bunch of videos at the time. I guess I enjoy watching people get pissed off. Even if it's something I have no fight in. Because we can all relate to that. It's fun. It can be entertaining. I think like Angry Joe and a bunch of others did. So, I don't know. It's like, man, they're acting like I did with the X-Files reboot. Or revival, I'm sorry. Like, how they felt of that is how I felt at the X-Files revival. Season 10 and 11. Fucking so... Yeah, it's fucking frostbite. Frostbite on my dick. Fuck. So... It definitely ends in a way that wants you to see what happens next. I mean, it's not spoilers. Most of Earth has seen the show. But at the end, the little kid Bran finds that the queen and the twin brother are fucking. Incestuous fucking. And the guy just pushes the boy out the window. Which, from what I understand, he gets fucked up, he doesn't die, and then so on and so forth. And I mean, I wasn't really that excited watching the show. I wasn't really that thrilled, as in on pins and needles watching the show. It was more watching going, I like that moment, I like that moment, I like that moment. The acting's not too bad, to be fair. It's a lot of characters are flooding in to keep track of. And again, it's a setup to a variety of episodes, a variety of seasons. Like I said, it's just one of those things where it was alright, but it didn't make me like fall in love or anything. I guess because yeah, the medieval time, or even the fancy medieval times, has never been one of my favorite time periods. I don't know why. I mean, sure, if it was a Sword and the Sorcerer, Conan Barbarian, R-rated, just kicking ass with swords, like that kind of thing, but it's not exactly that. But I said, I mean, there was really also nothing that to get mad about. So yeah, it was alright. It was an alright episode. Didn't mind it. It was an hour long, and it was what it was. I'm not sure what else to say. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.